Who's here?
She's here,
Doris Dear.
It's Doris with a content man. She's the perfect housewife. This one might have a man.
Well, maybe.
It's Doris and her dear friends. They live up in the sky. Before the chance to sing and dance, her friends might also buy. It's Doris. It's Doris Dear. She's that girl on the street. She'll show up with a sweet you'll adore when she knocks on your door. Press her on. It's Doris Dear's Girl Talk.
Hi, dears. Welcome to Doris Dear's Girl Talk. I'm your hostess, Doris Dear, otherwise known as America's Perfect Housewife. Good to see you back in the rumpus room. Now, I promised to look into one of my favorite books to peruse, Always Ask a Man, Arlene Dahl's Key to Femininity, written in 1965 by Hollywood starlet Arlene Dahl. Now, one of my favorite movies of hers was Journey to the Center of the Earth with James Mason and Pat Boone. Yes, that Pat Boone. Now, near the end, she's laying on a large dish being pushed up through the volcano, and it looks like she's having sex with the wind. Oh, it's hilarious. You go, girl. Now, this book is a fascinating read full of so-called advice for women and finding a man. So to start it off, this book has a copy of a handwritten letter to her readers. You must hear this, folks. So sit back and let's go to 1965. Dear reader, I like men, and I like men to like me, so I dress for them. Oh, she rhymed. This I used to consider the normal attitude and approach, one I shared with all women. Then not long ago, a survey showed me that the average woman doesn't dress to please men at all. She dresses to please herself or other women. Well, that fact shocked me into writing this book, Always Ask a Man. So you see, our dear Arlene wants all the gals out there to dress for men, never herself. Now we need to consider the man first and foremost for the world to progress. They're terribly ignored and repressed by society on a daily basis. I think that tells us just where this book might go. Okay, continuing. Now, most women long to be beautiful, at least the ones who write me for advice. Millions of dollars, the statisticians tell us, are spent yearly at beauty salons, cosmetic counters, gymnasiums, and dress shops in a women's quest for beauty. But beauty for whom? The girls in the office? The women at the club? How can the world progress if women don't consider men, the man, first? Oh, wait, there's more. And this is just the opening, remember? Now, this book is not intended for women who want to be beautiful for beauty's sake. Such beauty serves no purpose other than self-satisfaction, if that can be considered a purpose. But if you're a woman that longs to be beautiful for and be loved by a man, well, I believe this book can help you. Yeah, whether you are a student, a housewife, a mother, a working girl, or a businesswoman, to me the only role that really counts is that of being an exciting, feminine woman. Yours for beauty, Arlene Dahl. Well, I think you get the idea. Oh, it's full of great stuff. And each show I'll be sharing some simply wonderful nuggets from this fab book. So mix up a great cocktail, sit back, get comfy, and be transported back to 1965 with Arlene Dahl. Tune in each week for a little bit of fun, and don't forget, you can find all these stories on my website at www.dorisdear.com/girl, GURL-talk, all one word. Oh, who could that be?
Everybody loves a lover.
Masks off!
Okay.
Yay! Blake Allen!
Hi.
Welcome to Doris Dear's Girl Talk.
Oh, so glad to be here.
So happy to see you. Now, we worked together. You did that great show at Green Room 42.
Yes.
You did that great series that I got probably the best review of my life.
Well, because you did such a good job.
No, you do a great job. It's so great. They're such great shows, and that's great. And I couldn't wait to have you in here on the couch so we could sort of talk about you and your life and all that you do. But first, we're going to toast because day drinking is always a good thing.
Oh, yep.
Tonight we are drinking. This is the Doris Dear. This is the Doris Dear. What did I say we were drinking?
Charlie Chaplin.
The Charlie Chaplin. I don't ever remember what I make, darling. It's early. This is the Charlie Chaplin, an old Hollywood drink from 1934, no less.
Oh.
So cheers. Gin based. Okay. That's going to put me onto the couch today. It's made with
refreshing.
sloe gin. Sloe gin.
I don't even know what that is.
It's made from a sloe berry, which is the native to the plum. But in the UK, they drink sloe gin after dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a little sipping thing. But this is like a combination of lots of things. But we're saluting old Hollywood this season.
That's me.
That's
I
you.
love that.
That's you. Now, I have to read this because I thought this was such a great quote. There's nostalgia in the gorgeously played songs, full of yearning and exuberance and affection, with strings to make you swoon, says the New York Times. Something small. I love, and then Mr. Allen has created something special. The miracle isn't on 34th Street. It's on 42nd. Those are great. I mean, can't ask for better than that.
No, you can't. And this perfectly describes my style and what I do.
So explain your style and what you do. Because you come from a very varied background. You grew up Mormon.
I grew up Mormon.
And that you
yes.
say that has a heavy influence on what you do now in your art.
Well, yeah, because you grow up with hymns and I grew up with the old classics in the house because they're clean, right? You can listen to Doris Day all day. Doris Dear.
You can listen to Doris Dear all day, hopefully.
Like Peggy Lee was a little racy growing up.
Oh, wow.
Don't even talk about Eartha Kipping. Right?
Oh, gosh,
like
yes.
That. So, and then growing up with all the old Disney, and my mom's obsessed with the old, not Star Wars, the other one.
Star Trek?
Star Trek. Chucky. So, just like good, clean, old style fun. So I come from that background, and then all the hymns. So yeah, that kind of influences what I do in my sound.
And then you went to CCM?
Yeah, I went to Brigham Young University first, then CCM, and then NYU.
Wow. Now, I worked with a lot of CCM girls in my day, honey.
Ooh.
Oh,
There's
yes.
a lot of them.
Highly trained and ready to tell you. Only kidding, darlings. Wonderful training, all of which I never had. I'm a sort of a learn as I go girl.
Which is so shocking because you're so good at what you do.
Oh, boy, thank you, darling. But I'm still trying to learn.
Well, that's
at 62, honey.
Till the day we die, we learn. Isn't that what life is about?
Yeah, because if you're not learning, then yeah. And well, during COVID, talk about learning. We've had to reinvent everything we do. Like right here we are, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you do? But you, zooming to the top, your latest album, Sonatas.
Yes.
Right, which is so beautiful. I walk
you.
around New York City with my headphones on, and I listen to sonatas. Because it's like the perfect sort of walking around and feeling good and lyrically sort of skipping through the streets at times. Maybe I break into dance. Maybe. But debuted number one on the iTunes classical charts, where it stayed for 2 weeks. Top 40 on iTunes top 100 albums, and 4 on the Billboard classical charts.
I know, isn't it?
But it's so crazy. You don't have an agent. You don't have a $10,000 a month PR person. You did it all yourself.
All myself, yes.
And then there it is.
And then there it is. Yeah, it's
Like huge success. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's so amazing. It just shows you what being an artist is today. I mean, look, back in the day,
correct.
when I started 43 years ago, you had an agent.
Yeah.
They got you work, and that was it. And if you had a record deal, like my sister was head of Epic Records, you had a record deal, they took care of it, they had A&R, everything.
Right.
Now you do it all yourself. It's all self-everything.
And they don't teach you that in school. It's kind of just like self-learned, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Just kind of figuring out where you fit in the world and how to do it.
Yeah. And it's, you make mistakes and you just keep going. You can't let it stop.
Oh, yeah.
And COVID, we've talked about this. You can sit around waiting for it to roll back, especially theater in New York, Broadway. Small venues are kind of opening, but it's still a little cagey. You can sit around and wait, or you can be proactive, which I think you've been very proactive.
Well, that came from a conversation with you the week of the shutdown.
Right.
You were talking about what to do, and you gave me that advice, like, even if you do something that ends up not being good, just be present and work.
Yeah, and just do it.
And just do it.
And if you make a mistake, chances are, especially in the beginning, the audiences were tiny. So who's going to remember?
Right.
You know, and we just keep going. And you're doing great stuff. And then, now, we have to talk a little bit about your partner,
Yes.
Marty Cummings, who is an amazing entertainer, amazing. You're his musical director. By the way, Blake is my musical director. But Marty is now in politics.
Yes.
And running for office. He's running for New York City Council.
Yeah, District 7, uptown.
That is,
Yeah, it's amazing.
Political life. Now, what
Yes.
is that like?
It's kind of similar to being an artist in a lot of ways. It's the same crazy hours, the same constantly going. Marty has a great team, so I don't really have to be as present. Like, I'm allowed to
Right.
do my life. I don't have to drop everything because it's city council, which is a big deal, but it's not like running for Congress or anything.
Right, but you still have to be in a nice outfit and stand
Correct.
politely right behind
Correct.
his left shoulder.
Correct. Michelle Obama real hits.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. And look, I'm a little older. I love watching young people get involved because I always say, like, the young people coming in now, they're gonna bring the change for the ones behind them.
Correct.
We tried to bring some change. I don't know if some of that change wasn't so good, but like every generation, it's just great to see young people. I've been, marching and doing my thing for a long time.
Right.
It's great to see young people standing up for hate and standing up for everything that's gone on in the past couple of years. It's been so crazy.
Yeah. It's been so important also. And change starts at the local level.
Right.
Like, yes, we can vote for president, yes, we can vote for senators, but until you start voting and, like, being active in your own city, you're not going to get the change you want
Right.
in the country.
Yeah. And as artists, I mean, when we come back, maybe later this year on Broadway here in New York, I mean, New York is so associated with Broadway. When we finally come back, I don't think there's any getting around the fact that it's going to be different. I think it's changed how we do what we do.
Correct.
All of that is different, and it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I have to brag because Blake wrote the theme song, the Doris Dear Girl Talk theme song, which is so amazing. It's so amazing, and we showed earlier my nephews
Oh my gosh.
that are so cute, or a big Doris. Thank you, nephews. They sang and choreographed the whole thing. It is so adorable. We showed that earlier. It's so great, and thank you for that. It's such a great song. Your music is great. I love being involved. He has an orchestra, people. An orchestra. You get to sing with an orchestra. For those who don't know, in New York City, singing with an orchestra is a big deal. I mean, it's hard to get more than a piano player and a bass player.
Right. When you performed, was it 13 people or 15? I don't remember the number.
I think it was, what we did too, I think it was 15.
15 for Frank Sinatra, yeah.
For Frank Sinatra, and then...
And Doris was probably 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I got to
Tiny
host
days.
the Doris Day show. That was so fun. I had such a blast. That was so funny. And it was just great. And you're amazing, and your knowledge of all that is great. So what's next for you? Like, where are you going? Like, this year is kind of, we're slowly getting back in. We're slowly opening up. I see on social networks, look up Blake Allen on social networks. He has great stuff. Like, where, over the next, say, year, where do you see your journey going?
So I'm releasing another album in late spring.
Classical, another classical?
No, it's one of my shows. It's an autobiographical show about being raised Mormon, going to Brigham Young University, overcoming the trauma of that told in like a fantastical lens. So it's really...
So is it like a modern opera?
Yeah,
Oh.
but there's dialogue. But the dialogue... So,
Yeah.
you know those old Disneyland records, like Jungle Book, or where there would be a narrator and then it would all of a sudden be a song?
I love those.
That's
And they
basically-
came with like a little book inside. You
Yeah.
open the album, there were pages.
Right, so that's basically what this is without the book.
Oh.
So Alison Fraser is the narrator, if you know Alison Fraser.
Yes. The
So
great Alison
all,
Fraser.
All-star Broadway cast. And it's...
Well, we would think nothing else, darling. An all-star Broadway cast. Of course, Doris Dear wasn't on it, but that's okay, honey. That's all right. Well, that's exciting. And when is that due out?
May or June. It's still it's at the time of this filming. It's in the mastering process.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. And what else are you doing? Planning any live shows sort of over time? You're going to bring back the shows that you were doing at Green Room? They were so great.
The shows that I do at Green Room, it's kind of like Broadway. It's a little too intense unless everyone's vaccinated and
Right.
safe, because that's such a small stage and
Yeah.
it's not worth doing that show with a piano, bass, and drums.
Right.
Because it's a reinvention of the American Songbook.
Right. Oh, I like that. A reinvention of the American Songbook. I love that.
Yeah.
And those are great. Those are terrific. Now, you were my musical director for the Christmas show that we did here on Broadway on Demand. If you haven't seen it, it was really great. We had so much fun with that show. It was like in the middle of the pandemic to bring 7 guests to get in, all like amazing guests from Broadway and the jazz world. It was an intense experience bringing everyone together and planning that, but so well worth it. I thought it was so great to do.
It was so great to do.
Yeah.
And it was such a nice, that was my first in-house live performance since the shutdown. And so it was like a weird, it was just, it was a wonderful, weird experience because we didn't have the audience feeding us.
Yeah.
So you're hysterical and we're sitting there laughing, but
I think so, but I'm not sure if they are.
Right.
I was like, I hope they're getting it. Usually I rewrite as I go. I don't know. Are they laughing at home? Was it worth $10? I don't know.
Absolutely was.
But we're going to find out again because we are planning another live stream show. You have to check on Broadway on Demand. I think sometime maybe we're going to live stream sometime maybe late May or something.
Right.
And I think it's going to be my one-woman show. More Girl Talk with Doris Dear and Blake Allen. It's going to be great. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in to chat with us today.
course,
And
thank
I think
you.
you should do another little cheers of our slow gin cocktail, the Charlie Chaplin, I remember now. So cheers, darling. Here's to whatever's ahead of us. I don't know. Welcome to the Bar Cart, the place where we make the cocktails we drink here in the Rumpus Room. Now on today's show, we continued saluting the old Hollywood stars through cocktails by enjoying a refreshing new favorite, the Doris Dear Charlie Chaplin. Now this pre-prohibition cocktail, mostly forgotten in modern times, is rich and indulgent enough to evoke old Hollywood glamour from the silent era of movies. It was invented at New York City's Waldorf Astoria Hotel prior to Prohibition and was included in Albert Stephen Crockett's 1934 The Old Waldorf Astoria Bar Book, published 2 years after Prohibition ended. Now, this is a gin-based drink, which was originally extremely sweet due to the combination of ingredients used, especially the slow gin. Now, I have a bit of history with slow gin, darling. You see, my dad, Duke, used to make slow gin fizzes for us before we went to our senior prom in high school. Oh, we thought we were so grown up drinking that heavily sweet, dark red concoction my dad, Duke, would shake up. Oh, but don't worry, darling. Most of us were legal age to drink by senior proms back then. Well, most of us anyway. Now, slow gin is made from ripe sloes. Surprise. A relative of the plum, which are traditionally picked after the first frost of winter, late October to early November in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, each sloe is pricked. Traditionally with a thorn taken from the black thorn bush on which they grow. Oh, those thorny bushes. Then they're soaked in gin with sugar added to extract the juice of the fruit. There is a slow gin competition held each January in the Pandy Inn, Dorston, Herefordshire, in the UK, with the winner crowned the Grand Master of Slows. I don't know if you get a crown, but well, I sure hope so. Ooh, I'd love to see that. Now, as always, I like creating my own version of the drinks I love, and I created a special version of this one. This not as sweet version of the classic pre-prohibition cocktail. So let's get on with it. Ladies and gents, I present to you the Doris Dear Charlie Chaplin. Now, to a cocktail shaker full of ice, we're going to add 1/2 ounce of sloe gin. I love that red color. So pretty. I love pretty things. 2/3 of an ounce of dry gin. You know I like my gin. 1/2 ounce of apricot brandy. Yum. And of course our lime juice. Now we're going to give that a good shake. Do our COVID workout. You ready? More I've done in months. Okay, and we're going to strain that into our coupe glass, which is a sort of martini glass, darling. But I love the shape. It's very... Oh, isn't that pretty? Look at that. Isn't that fancy? And we're going to garnish with a lime twist and enjoy. Well, I hope you enjoyed your stay in the Rumpus Room today. You know, I love when friends drop by and we share some fun ideas and bring some, sing it with me, joy to the world. And don't forget, head over to www.dorisdear.com/girl-talk for all the recipes and hints from today's show. I hope you'll drop by the Rumpus Room again for more Doris Dear's Girl Talk. Stay safe and hugs and love from Doris Dear. And remember, a dress doesn't get you anywhere. It's the life you live in the dress that matters. See you soon. Cheers. Ooh, I think I just got pricked.
It's Doris. It's Doris Dear. She's that girl on the street. She'll show up with a sweet little door when she knocks on your door.